All right, everybody. Happy Sunday, late morning or early afternoon for some of you. We're going to continue on with these potential free agent left guards here. And the earlier video, we were talking about the big ticket guys, the guys who I think are going to cost a good amount of money, and if you got them, would be the long-term solution at the position. You're not getting them for 1 year or 2 years. You're getting them for several years, and you're just hoping they can take care of that position for you for the foreseeable future. So this video, we're going to move down a little bit. We're still going to be looking at guys who will probably be starters, guys who you get and you plan on playing them, but you're not making as big of an investment, maybe a much smaller investment. And more importantly, you're not thinking that, okay, we're good now, in all likelihood. You're not thinking that, like, okay, this is going to take care of us for the next 3 or 4 years. No. It's like maybe 1 year, maybe not even 1 year. Maybe these guys are like, oh, we want to draft a guy, but we don't want to put him in day one, so we're going to get one of these guys to hold down the fort for a little bit while the guy we draft is going to get prepared. So that's kind of what this video is. These guys would probably come in and at least compete for the starting job and probably win it if they're going up against a rookie. But these are guys who are more like, okay, short-term solution. And even then, with most of these guys, you are crossing your fingers. You are crossing your fingers hard. First guy would be Andrus Peat. This guy's a longtime New Orleans Saint. They paid him a lot of money over the years. Former first-round pick. He's had some very good years in this league. Unfortunately, they're mostly in the distant past. Like, this most recent year's whatever, because he was playing at left tackle pretty much the whole year because he had to. So I'm not even really looking at something like this. Like, he's a left guard. He's almost always played left guard. But you go back and you, like, 2022, he only played half the season, 50 PFF grade at left guard. You go back to 2021, it's not better. He plays a third of the season, barely. 2020, like, this guy hasn't, at least according to PFF, played at a very high level in a long time, and he's been benched for performance-related reasons before. Like, this Andrus Peat guy might just not really be it. Andrus Peat might not really have it anymore. In fact, there's an argument to be made he hasn't had it for a long time. The injuries, the occasionally bad play, like, there's some really substandard play over the last several years. You can talk to Saints fans. I've seen them on forums talking about this guy. Seems like he's kind of a reputation guy at this point. So you want to bring him in to start for a month or two to start the season while you get the rookie ready behind him. That's one thing, but it would have to be a 1 year pretty dang cheap deal. And I do think that probably would be workable. I think it'd probably be like 1 year, 2.5 to 3 million. He's made his money. I don't think his reputation is enough for him to get paid much more than that. But even then, you're just hoping he can get a little bit more out of himself at the left guard spot. Next guy, kind of a similar boat here, Cody Whitehair, coming off a pretty sizable contract he had with the Chicago Bears. About to turn 32, by the way. These guys tend to be on the older side. Coming off a season where he played mostly left guard, but played all over the interior offensive line. According to PFF, played miserably. So we probably seen the best out of Cody Whitehair because in previous years he was quite good. Like 2022, he was solid. You go back to 2021, he was solid. Again, as a left guard, this guy is a left guard. You go back to 2020, split his snaps almost evenly between left guard and center and was very good according to PFF. This guy had a positive reputation, but I don't know if he has it anymore. He was drafted in 2016. Seems like you've seen the best out of him, but again, this is a guy you bring in to hope you can get 1 year of decent play out of. And I know we're all sick of doing that, but that may end up being the play this offseason. You bring in a guy like a Cody Whitehair for 1 year, 3 million, 1 year, 2.5 million, something around that marker, and he's just happy to still be in the league at his age. And you're happy to have somebody who is nominally starting caliber at the position so you don't have to force a rookie out there. Now, again, left guard is a position where we see rookies thrown out there and do well, so I'm not looking at this the same way I would be looking at a position like quarterback, but it may be possible that we decide to play things that way, and a guy like Cody Whitehair might be available in July. So you don't even have to make an immediate decision there. But Cody Whitehair would have to be a consideration. Next guy I want to look at here is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. It's Matt Feiler. He's kind of in the same area as Cody Whitehair for me. He's the same age, more or less, about to turn 32. Little bit of a bigger guy, but he's played left guard most of his career. This most recent year, he didn't play that much, and when he did play, he was just kind of passable, nothing special. However, if you go back to some previous years, like not so much 2022, 2022, he was just meh, played the whole year at left guard. You can go back and find some years where he was good, like 2021, good PFF grade, played the whole year at left guard. You go back to 2020, he was pretty decent again at left guard. So you're kind of hoping maybe he can turn back the clock a year. You're hoping that maybe he can squeeze out one more good year of play or maybe a half year worth of good play. That's kind of what the mark of success would be for these guys, right? Just understand that Matt Feiler is a guy who will probably get, like, what was his most recent contract? It was $2.5 million a year. This next contract, he might just take 1 year, $2 million, just so he can continue to play in this league. So it's going to be very cheap. This guy was not expensive last year. I don't know why he would be more expensive this year as a year older, coming off a year where he didn't play that well and didn't play that much. So again, these are kind of the dice rolls that you can take, right? And if you miss, it probably isn't the end of the world because you probably drafted a guy who's going to take over the position at some point. But Matt Feiler is definitely a guy who would come cheap, would come short term, and then you just kind of cross your fingers. Next guy would be, and this one's aiming even a little bit lower. It's Elijah Wilkinson of the Arizona Cardinals. This is a guy who used to play right tackle, but he's moved to guard. Played about half the season at left guard last year. Graded out very poorly on PFF. But you go back to like 2022, it was actually respectable. He had a decent grade, played about half the season at left guard, did fine. And if you go back further than that, you'll start to find, oh, he's playing at tackle. Like 2021, he was still at tackle. 2020, he was still at tackle. But most of the play is just not particularly good. 2022 is like his best season by far. And he still only played half the season. So again, this is a guy you bring in. You bring him in probably to start, but you understand that, look, this is not a long-term thing. He's just turned 29, by the way, so he's not super old, but he's not young either. He was a UDFA in the first place. He's not like some super talented guy. So you would bring him in and just say, look, give us what you got until you got nothing left, and then we'll throw our rookie out there. That's probably what the goal would be in this case. I got one more guy I want to look at in this video, and he doesn't fit in that well with this group. This guy might be a little bit better, but he also doesn't fit in with the previous video. It's Jonah Jackson of the Detroit Lions. This is another left guard guy. He played almost 800 snaps at left guard last year, played respectably well. The year before that, he also was playing at left guard, playing respectably well, part of a really good Detroit offensive line, which admittedly does make your job a little easier, but he's a good player. And he's coming off of his rookie deal. He was a former third-round pick. I don't think he's going to get paid the way that the people in the previous video are going to get paid. And if you got him, I don't think you could be like, okay, we're good. I don't think you would feel great about that the way you might feel great about a Kevin Dotson or even a Connor Williams. Those guys are rock-solid, really good players. Jonah Jackson, I don't think he's there right now. I think this is more like a guy you get for maybe 2 years, $12 million, or 2 years, $14 million, something like that. I don't know what the exact numbers would be. This one's a little tougher to calculate, but you're probably looking at something in that realm. So Jonah Jackson, he's kind of like, he's bridging the gap between the first video I made and this video because he is younger. He's only 27, by the way, but I think at the end of the day, you're still talking about a guy who, if you got him, you wouldn't feel amazing about the future. You might get a guy like this and still draft somebody. You might not have to draft in the first round anymore because you're like, okay, Jonah Jackson is going to buy me a couple years worth of time. But I think you would still probably look at him and go, he's not our long-term, lock it up, pure left guard solution the same way like Graham Barton or Cooper Bebe or Troy Fatanu would be. So that's about it in terms of the guys who stand out to me in this regard. There are other players that we're going to take a look at in this video series. I'm going to do at least one more video about some of the other options out there at left guard. But again, with each successive video, we're aiming a little bit lower. So the next video will be more like depth, more like backups. We do need a backup left guard. There's no doubt about it. We don't have anything at the position right now at all. And no, Abe Lucas is not going to be able to move to guard. He's too tall. So that I don't view that as a possibility. But more videos coming later. See you guys soon. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. Let me know if anything stands out to you. And we will continue to comb on through free agency going forward. See you soon.